Well, I'm wishing you a good morning, whatever time it is that you might be watching this, because I'm in my pajamas, I think for the very first time. So here we are. You're having coffee with me this morning, and I have actually had a number of videos in my head that I've been sort of working out, and I realized there's no time like the present. So here I am in my pajamas. Anyway, I think I've noted in several videos that um, there's been a lot of chaos in my life over the last several months, and that has led to a number of insights. It's also, which are some of what I'm planning on uh, talking about in various ways. But one of the things that often happens when we get stressed out, when we are in the midst of chaos and we feel like it's coming at us from all sides, and that no matter what we do, things just seem to keep, the waves just keep hitting, and you're like pulling that surfboard together. And I've been pulling the surfboard together, and I've been doing my practices, and they do absolutely help. I don't know where I would be right now if I hadn't, one, started taking medication that helps me regulate my hormones. Two, being engaged in a daily meditation practice where I sit down and I meditate for various amounts of time. If I wasn't eating better and drinking less and breathing more intentionally, and I've had to change my exercise routine, but keeping it up, and that's so those that is sort of the major component. Those are the major components of my surfboard, of the ways, and getting good sleep. Those are the ways, and getting off Facebook to some degree, taking it off my phone sort of accidentally, but it happened, and then so dialing down social media has been another part of the surfboard that's come in recently, really only in the last week. So despite me potentially putting videos up here, I've not been looking at it very much. I've not been engaging on it. So those are the pieces of the surfboard that I've been holding together, and I can't imagine where I would be if I hadn't been doing that stuff, because I haven't necessarily been entirely sane, even so, and there are certainly people in my life who would say that they have seen the struggle and maybe even felt a little bit of the pain, because that's what happens, right? Or at least I'm going to take it on me. That is a pattern that I am observing in myself. Part of the gift of the last couple of months and all the chaos and all the waves has been that I have had a real chance to literally look at almost every difficult time that I've had in my life. They have come swimming back. Stuff I hadn't thought about in years, stuff I thought I had worked through, has just come slamming back in the form of waves and triggers. And so that's been really interesting. And it's been really interesting to be able to sit back and watch that. But before I got to the point where I started to observe it, I was lashing out against it. And where I was able to hold myself together in certain situations, I was not necessarily able to hold myself together in others, right? And what happens when you are under stress, right? Who catches the brunt of that? That would be the people who are closest to you, are the ones that catch the brunt of that. You're putting on the good face for everybody else, and even people that are maybe close to you as well, but there's certain people that you maybe feel safe with, or that you lean on, and those people really catch the brunt of it. And I've noticed a pattern in myself, and that was that over the last, well, over my entire life, but in particular over like the last 10 years, when things have gotten really difficult in certain areas of my life, I tend to end significant relationships. And and I'm not saying like friends and stuff. This is mostly romantic interests. And I realized that part of that is because I was still operating subconsciously to a very large degree in this sort of acculturated idea that's been sold to women for a long time. And I'm going to talk about just women for 1 second. I will branch out because that's where I'm starting from, right? This idea that we're going to be rescued, this idea that I need to be rescued, this idea that someone is going to come in on a white horse and rescue me. And whether that's from romance novels or romantic comedies or different movies and stuff, just within the culture, that this is that I need to be rescued, that I need someone to show up and rescue me from the difficulty that I'm facing, right? And whether that's rescue me, financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, whatever, right? And the realization that I came to is I don't need to be rescued. I can rescue myself. I can do this. But I had to be alone to figure that out, okay, even for a short period of time. So that is a realization that I've come to, that I have been putting expectations on other people that aren't particularly fair, right? And I'm not saying that's what you might be doing. I'm sharing this because often when I share stuff like this, it resonates with people maybe in other ways. It might not be a romantic partner. It might be your kids. It might be your boss. It might be the people you work for, people who work under you, or like any number of things. The person at the checkout stand, the people driving next to you, right? And a lot of us recently have been unleashing a lot of stress. Now, maybe it's not all related to this underlying feeling that we need to be rescued. And then I was thinking about, okay, if needing to be rescued is sort of what I've been putting on other people, this expectation I've been putting on other people, and then getting upset when it doesn't happen, right? What is it for guys, right? And wait, I'm coming to everybody else too. So what is it for guys? Is it, and I thought, well, maybe it's this idea that there's going to be this person who's going to show up in your life, who's going to fulfill all your needs, who's going to take care of everything, who's going to be able to, and this again is an old operating standard, and this may be just for a certain generation and up. It may be that generations below me don't have this as much or aren't as fully acculturated in this way. But this idea that somebody's going to show up and be a wife and a mother and is going to be supportive in your corporate life and like whatever else, right? But there is this like perfect person out here who's going to understand all of your needs and who's going to get your emotions and who's going to never ask too much of you or more. That there's a certain idea that's out there, right? And I think it's a slightly different cast for men than it is for women. And then everybody in between, right? Everybody in between that. And if you're gay, whether male or female or trans or in between or somewhere else, what is it that you are expecting? What is it? Are you looking for your twin flame? Do you think that perfect person, that perfect karmic love is out there and that's going to save you or change your whole life? Because if you're waiting for something like that, if you're waiting for the perfect person or this person to do this thing, I would start looking at what it is that you are looking for, that you think you're looking for in another person. And when you figure out what it is you think you're looking for in another person, turn that around and think about what is that I need to be for myself. Do I need to be present for myself? Do I need to be rescuing myself? Do I need to figure out how to do this? Because that is really all we have, right? We can't wait for other people. We can't, as I've said a 1,000 times, crazy people can only drive you crazy if you give them the keys. But if you're also waiting for somebody else to pick up the keys and drive in some way, you're never going to find a person that meets that. And I'm even speaking with people who are partnered up and maybe people who've been together for a really long time, right? That if you are waiting for that perfect thing, that completes you, right? And that could even be a relationship with a particular brand of God, I think. But if you're waiting for something that completes you, stop. That's what I'm learning. And if that resonates with you this morning, cheers. That's what I've got today. And I think that's installment number 8 in the Year of Joy. Stop waiting for something or someone or some God to complete you. Thank you, Chuck. We're going to end now. Love you. Bye.